Japan's population shrank by 556,000 in 2022 from a year earlier to 124.9 million for the 12th straight year of decrease, as the number of Japanese nationals saw its largest drop on record, government data showed. The population, including foreign residents, down 750,000, the largest margin of decline since comparable data were made available in 1950, the data said. The trend indicates an urgent need for Japan to establish a social system to cope with the dual challenge of a declining birth rate and a graying population. About a year ago, Elon Musk, who received the news that Japan's total population had recorded the largest decline in history, tweeted the following and became a hot topic. At the risk of stating the obvious, unless something changes to cause the birth rate to exceed the death rate, Japan will eventually cease to exist. This would be a great loss for the world. One expert commented on this tweet as follows: "Not quite so simple. Japan's future population also depends on net immigration, that is, a number of people moving to Japan from another country minus number moving out of Japan. In other words, the anxiety surrounding Japan's demographic future is not that Japan will eventually cease to exist, but rather the profound social dislocations that are occurring as a result of the decline to a lower population level. The labor shortage was the most turbulent of all. According to one opinion, what is accelerating Japan's population decline is that Japan has not adopted an aggressive immigration policy like other countries. 30, 50, or even 100 years from now, if Japan does not have more children and does not accept foreigners, it is certain that there is a possibility that Japan will disappear. Will Japan be able to actively accept immigrants in the future? In my opinion, it's probably going to be difficult for rapid and large-scale acceptance. One of the reasons for this is Japan's closed nature and the fear of a large increase in immigration. Behind that fear lies a deep-rooted historical and cultural background. Japan is an island country separated from the Eurasian continent and therefore has never been invaded by a large number of different ethnic groups in its history, and has almost no experience of coexisting with them. The peoples of this archipelago have built up thousands of years of history, sharing almost one language and culture. Of course, there was a small influx of foreigners, but it did not threaten their language or culture. Even if foreigners came in, it was very slowly, and there was no large-scale influx that would drastically change Japanese society. This is why Japan has been able to build a very stable society of people who can understand each other with a single language and who share the same culture. People respect each other, follow social rules, and have very few crimes. This is why Japan has been able to build a very stable society of people who can understand each other with a single language and who share the same culture. People respect each other, follow social rules, and have very few crimes. And many Japanese fear that this stable society will be lost due to the rapid influx of immigrants. Here lies the difficulty of Japan's population problem. The Japanese will accept immigrants gradually as long as they do not destroy their stable society. However, it will not solve the problem of population decline. The government is about to introduce a policy that will greatly relax immigration restrictions. However, I predict that if this policy goes to a certain point, it will encounter persistent resistance from the public and fail. Ultimately, the question is whether the government can implement effective policies to prevent a drastic decline in the birth rate. However, the government is unlikely to come up with effective policies. If so, is there no other way but to continue to refuse to accept large number of immigrants in an attempt to protect a stable society and gradually reduce the population? I think it's very likely. However, if Japan ever disappears, it will be hundreds of years away.